Earlier this week, I put out a tweet that said, if this gets 500 retweets, I will do everything in my power to try to get Tom Dwan on my podcast. Yesterday, the last day of taping Poker After Dark took place, and I headed over to the Aria with my friend Brent Hanks and Poker Central, shout out to Brent, to try to find Tom and tell him that the people wanted to see him on the podcast. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of going up to random people that I've never met before or interacted with before and saying, hey, I have this podcast, do you want to come on it? But I know how important this is to the poker world. I know how much poker fans want to hear more from Tom and want to just know what he's been up to. So I decided that I had to do this and I had to get outside my comfort zone a little bit. Now, there's always this interesting dynamic for myself when I meet people in the poker world that might not know who I am or seen the podcast or know anything about me. I'm never sure if I should say I've been doing a podcast for a while, I have content on YouTube, I've been playing poker online for 10, 11 years now, I play high stakes PLO mainly. So certain people are going to perceive certain things differently. So if you say I'm a poker player, well, other poker players are going to be like, oh, that's awesome, you play poker too, that's really cool. If you say you do a podcast, they might be like, okay, go fuck off. I don't really have that down for the most part, and a lot of times I'm not necessarily trying to get anybody on the podcast, so I sort of just say, hey, I'm a poker player, I also do a podcast. I don't really worry too much about it. And in this situation, I was a bit nervous because, I kind of wanted to deliver this for all the fans out there of poker. And I felt like I have a responsibility in some ways to really try to make this happen. So we started talking and I told them, everyone out there would love to see on the podcast. They've been asking me for 3 years now, all this week on Twitter. They've been talking about it. I got to do it. I got to talk to you. So would you be interested in coming on?
Come on, make him a believer. Make Lee a believer, Father.
Now, his response, he seemed very receptive to it. He said, is this something that needs to happen in the next day or two, or could it be something that happens in the next 3 or 4 days? I said, listen, man, anytime is going to be good. We can make it happen. I live here. So we'll text each other and we can set something up. He said, sure, here, get my phone number, get in touch with me, and let's make this happen. So I walked away from that saying, I think we're about 65% to make this happen. Now, I do have an idea that I think might increase our chances just a little bit of making this happen. I want everybody to go to Twitter, mention @Tom Dwan, and say, Tom, we want to see you on the podcast, and then tell them a little bit of reason why you might want to see him on the podcast. I'm also going to tweet something up when this video goes live, and you can retweet that, interact with that as well if you'd like to, and maybe we can make this happen. Before I get into hands, I want to show you this amazing chip porn that I posted on my Instagram. It's of Tom Dwan's chip stack. After the second day, I believe it was towards the end of the night, he has about 1.3 million chips here. I don't think I've ever seen a more beautiful piece of #chip porn than this picture right here. This is kind of what poker dreams are made of. We're playing there, $1.3 million. I don't exactly know what that would feel like. Now, I do post pretty regularly on my Instagram page and on my Instagram story. If you guys want to follow along to see what I'm up to or what's happening in the poker world, go follow me @PoppyGTO and leave me a comment. Tell me what's up. Now, I did stick around the Aria for a little bit. I watched a little bit of the cash game. Not quite as exciting as it is where you can see the whole cards, but the action was wild. Aussie, Matt Kirk, ended up playing the game, took down about $1 million profit, and I heard some previews of the lineups they have in store for the future episodes, some of the stakes they have planned and the games they have planned, and there are some massive lineups potentially in the works, and I'm very, very excited for the future of Poker After Dark. Now, I do want to talk about 2 hands from yesterday's episode. And this first hand is a screenshot I found, and I have absolutely no idea how the action could have possibly got to this point. Board is King, Queen, Jack, Deuce, 6. The backdoor flush draw got in there. So the pot looks like it was about $215,000 up until the river, and Tom Dwan is betting $120,000. He's got 9-3 offsuit. I figured we'd play a game. How could this possibly have happened? And I have not seen the action. I still have to catch up on yesterday's episode. It looks like Andrew Robles the button here. JRB's the big blind. I assume Andrew Robles raised pre-flop because Tom Dwan was the straddle. John Belair Ballant, JRB called, and Tom Dwan. I honestly have no fucking idea how this is possible, guys. I don't understand how Tom Dwan could have put any more money in past the flop. Maybe he 3-bet I don't know. This is some OTB Red Baron Texas Hold'em poker guy type of shit here, guys. I don't even know if he won this hand. I'm going to assume that he won the hand, even though Roble does have the blocker to the nut flush, but Tom Dwan only has $95,000 behind him here. So I don't know. No, Texas Hold'em is the weirdest game. I got to be honest with you. I don't know what is happening. Is this GTO? Is this GTFO? I don't know. That's this hand took place when it was 200, 400, 800 straddle, $1,600 straddle. They're $468,000 deep. I think this is the biggest pot we've ever seen on a live stream. Lauren Roberts opens with 9-8 spades. Bill Klein, 3 bets pocket aces. Matt Kirk, cold calls in the first straddle with ace-4 of hearts. Flop comes down, 4-4-5. Pot's already $44,000 deep. Bill Klein decides to make a C-bet, $30,000. Matt Kirk makes a small raise of $75,000. I'm not sure in this situation if this is just a spot where a player like Bill Klein is going to have to lose a lot of money against a player like Matt Kirk. Matt Kirk, very aggressive player, playing a lot of hands, giving a ton of action. You're Bill Klein. You know your image is probably pretty tight. You know that Aussie Matt is the type of player who may be making a play at you on the flop. But could there be a different way to play this hand? Does he have to lose it all in the way that he did? I guess that's up for people out there to interpret and to decide. Let me know what you think. So we go ahead. We see some of the action here. It's cut up a bit. So Bill makes that bet 30. Aussie Matt makes the raise. And now Bill decides to make a re-raise on the flop to $175,000. Now, you could say, well, what is he hoping to get called by? His hand is obviously going to look super strong here. So maybe Matt has a hand like a 7-6. He's going to call here. If he's got a 4, he's obviously never folding. If he has an overpair, he's most likely going to fold against the Bill Klein. So I don't think this raise is going to be the best play. There is that some chance that you do get action from a 7-6, an open-ended straight draw type of hand. So Matt Kirk thinks about it for a little bit, and he makes the call. Turn 2 of hearts, and Bill Klein thinks about it for a bit, ships it all in, gets instant called, and he knows he's in bad shape. Rivers the 9 of hearts. No flush draw, ends up making it there. And I don't necessarily think that another way goes on where he doesn't lose the money here. So if he bets the flop, he gets raised, he calls $75,000. The turn's the 2, he checks, Matt makes another bet. He's probably going to call again. It's very unlikely that Matt's going to have a hand like 3-6, but I suppose he could have that in his pre-flop range. And the river comes a 9, and he's probably going to end up check calling again just because it's very hard to fold if you're in Bill Klein's spot. All right, hope everybody enjoyed today's video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel for future videos, and let me know what you thought in the comments. I'm glad everybody's been enjoying my videos I'm putting out this week, and I look forward to doing more of them. Thanks a lot, and that's what I got, man. Much love.